It's time again for Fridays in the Field back in southeast Nebraska. Now, after a wet week to 10 days, farmers are just getting back into the fields. We catch up with Andrew Neujahr.
Yeah, we've got, probably between 6 and 8 inches of rain, and then we actually caught more snow than the weather guys were predicting. We got 4 to 6 inches of snow across pretty much all our fields, north to south. So that really set us back quite a bit. The field that we're in now is the driest field as far as corn goes, and the driest field as far as the soil goes too. We've seen corn pick up anywhere from 2 to 5 points of moisture from what we've been testing on our mobile tester. So.
As for harvest progress, the Neujahr's begin with short season soybeans.
We're probably 20% done with soybeans. We cut all of our soybeans pretty much before we harvested any corn. Harvest overall went pretty good. We had a really wide range of yields, which we weren't quite expecting, but regardless, we had some fields that were really, really good, and then some fields that missed a couple of rains, unfortunately.
The late rain and snow will often cause late-season crop diseases and issues. For corn, Tamara Jackson-Zims, Nebraska Extension plant pathologist, warns that stalks and ear rot diseases are becoming more evident. Soybean pods exposed to prolonged moisture tend to pop open, resulting in a yield loss.
For soybeans especially, after the few rains we got, they were doing really, really well. And then after the snow, we went out and checked some fields yesterday, and our earlier maturity soybeans that we weren't able to harvest the first time around picked up some moisture and then had some pods, especially at the top of the plant, split open. It's not a ton of soybeans, maybe half a bushel to a full bushel, but it's enough to make a difference and make a guy kind of cringe and be sick when he's rolling through the combine. When you check the bottom half of the plant, they're standing relatively well, but you can squeeze those pods and just break them wide open. So we're not in the forecast to get any more rain, but if we do, we could have major problems, assuming that the soybean would pick up that moisture, and then the pods start to shatter more than just those that top cluster in the plant. So
now that the fields have become passable and the crops are drying down, the Neujahr's are pushing to work as quickly as possible.
We run 2 combines. This is the first year we're running 2 grain carts, so that's been a good experience so far. We have 3 semis. Most of our bushels go to either Lincoln or Waverly at the elevators. We have a little bit of bin storage, enough for maybe 60 to 70,000 bushels of something. This year we're trying to store as many beans as we can.
Neujahr says the 2018 year will be a memorable one. As we followed him throughout the growing season, the year has been full of surprises.
We started off planting, we got a rain or two in there. Moved into June, and we're really, really dry. We're wondering if we're going to start, have to fire up the wells, which we did, a couple. And then we caught a whole bunch of rain in mid-July, a lot of rain in August, a little bit more in September. Caught some here in October, caught a snowstorm in October. So it's not very often where, you get a golfing weather, and then you get a snow, and then you're back to, nice 60-degree golfing weather. So.
Now that the Neujahr's are back in the field, Andrew says they'll need some nice weather to complete the harvest season.
If we can get a good 10 to 14 days of really good harvesting, we could be done with soybeans in 2 weeks maybe. Corn, we're probably looking at harvesting in November. Last year we were able to get done, I think, on like the 1st of November, but this year might be mid-November. If we catch another snow, it might be, looking later than that. So,
reporting in Waverly, Nebraska, Bryce Tuskett, Rural Radio Network.